everyone, it's Sharronda from Pay or Wait, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Many Saints of Newark, which is currently playing in theaters and streaming on HBO Max. This film is directed by Alan Taylor, and this film essentially centers around Tony Soprano, and it reveals his humanity behind his struggles and also to the influence of his family, most especially his uncle, Dickie Montesanti, and really that helped him become one of the most iconic mob bosses of all time. So for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome, hello, so glad you came, I hope you stay. I'll tell you what I liked about the film, what I didn't like about the film, and is it worth your time paying or waiting to see The Many Saints of Newark in theaters, or also too on HBO Max where it's currently streaming. Now, before I get into this spoiler-free review, I know y'all finna try to come for me in this comment section on how I say Newark, okay? But I am from the Midwest, I don't know no better, okay? So don't drag me too hard in the comment section, okay? I'm not gonna say it no more until the end when I tell you what I was reviewing, because I'm not trying to get dragged like that today, y'all. I done had a long week, and it's only Tuesday. So, going into what I enjoyed about this film, one of the things that I do want to start off with is the question that everyone is going to have. If I have not watched The Sopranos, am I going to enjoy this movie? The first question would be, well, why haven't you watched The Sopranos? Like, let's unpack that real quick. Why have you not watched the series? Because it's a great series and you should definitely watch it. Gets a little destructive, you know, there's just a lot of discussion regarding how the series ended, but I would definitely tell you guys to go watch that. But for the sake of this review, just letting you guys know, you don't need to watch The Sopranos before going into The Many Saints of Newark. It's just, there's some things that are going to go above your head. There's some jokes that are made for those who watch and kind of know how all of the arcs for these characters play out. There's some things that will go over your head and some Easter eggs that you will miss. But overall, I think it's still an enjoyable movie that you won't have to watch the series before starting this. It will make things a lot more interesting, and you lose some of the shock value with one thing in particular that happens in this movie. But I think you're fine either way. However you want to do it, you need to go watch the series anyway, because, like, what is life if you haven't watched The Sopranos? But what I enjoyed about this film, I really like the backstory into Dickie Montesanti. I really enjoy Alessandro, who plays his character. I thought he was great. Especially like his interactions, as you get to see the interactions between him and young Tony, who is actually played by his son, which I will say, I thought they were trying to do a cash grab, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I thought they were trying to do a cash grab, like, come watch The Many Saints of Newark, the Sopranos prequel, and watch James Gandolfini's son play him. I just like, okay, but is he gonna do good? Or are you just trying to get my money? Like, what are we doing here? But I would have to say that he's actually really good. I really enjoy Michael Gandolfini as young Tony Soprano. I thought he did a really great job. And, you know, some of the best moments is really watching that dynamic between Tony and Dickie and really seeing how that shaped the dynamic that we see between Tony and Dickie's son, Chris, as we get to see their dynamic as you watch the series. I think it does a really great job also too of really fleshing out, you know, helping us understand like where we find our characters in the series, fleshing out where they came from. You know, they call this a prequel, and yeah, you could say that this is a Sopranos prequel, but it's really just an introduction into, you know, where we find our characters in the series. And many will probably argue that this movie probably would have been better suited to like draw it out a little bit longer to actually be able to give the screen time to all of the characters. But yeah, I mean, overall for me, I had a really great time with the story. I will say that I like the introduction of Leslie Odom Jr.'s character, Harold, but I will get into the cons as to, I don't know if his character was integral to the story that they're actually trying to tell in this movie, but I think that Leslie actually did a really good job. And I was actually like, you know, I don't know who your character is or how you tie into this overall story, but I'm very interested in your storyline. Like, if they would have just made this his own separate thing, I'm totally here for it, but I did think that he did a good job. Now, who I will say was the standout for me, Vera Farmiga, who plays Tony Soprano's mom, baby. She was on level 1 million, 1 trillion, and that's exactly what I needed her to be. I was really excited that she went all out over the top for this character, because anyone who has actually watched the series, like, I was just like, this totally makes sense. That this is how his mom acted, and this was their relationship while growing up. It was actually one of my favorite characters of the entire film, just because she really just went for it and she nailed every single scene, dialogue she was in. There is a thing between her and John that happens in the car, and I was just like, Now, you know what? It's wrong what happened to you, but if I had to listen to you every day, I can't even blame the man. I really can't even blame him at this point in time. But what I will say is, it does a really great job of nailing the, really showing who the influences were in Tony's life, who were these key characters, how did everyone come to be. I think it does a great job of laying the foundation of that, of helping you understand how we got to the Sopranos. But even though I have things that I did enjoy about it, okay, and also too, I really enjoyed Uncle Junior's pettiness. Like, I just didn't know, after this movie, Uncle Junior makes it to top 3 of pettiest people of all time. And once you watch the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But I was totally here for that moment. But even though I have a lot of things that I actually did enjoy about the Many Saints of Newark overall, I would say for me, as getting to some of the issues that I had for the film, right? I do believe that this would have been better suited as like a limited series, because there's so much that you actually have to cover. There's so many characters in this film that some people kind of get shafted out of the screen time that you would want for some of these characters. And because it kind of feels like it's 2 movies in one, especially when we get to Leslie Odom Jr.'s character Harold, that like the movie was like long, but after it ends, you're kind of just like, this could have been longer, and I totally would have been okay with it. I just think that it probably would have been better as a limited series, or even if you want to do a couple of movies. Actually, let me not give them that idea. If you would have did it as a limited series, you would have been fine. But with the introduction of Harold's character, this is where I feel like there's 2 different stories happening, because I was so interested in Dickie's character and his story arc that I felt like we could have gone even deeper with his character. But because we have the introduction of Harold, then you have to introduce the race riots, to introduce Harold, to give kind of the frame of like what's happening right now, in the city. I just think it kind of took away. That's just me being honest. Normally, I'm the person who's always talking about, yes, we need diversity. But it's a mob movie. We knew what we was getting. I wasn't going to see myself on the screen. It's a mob. I knew what I was getting out of this. I was like, E for effort. Leslie was great. Loved Harold. But then they start something with his character and they never actually wrap up his storyline. So I was just like, at the end of the day, did we actually need Harold? I probably think not. And if we would have took out of that storyline, we actually wouldn't have been able to focus on, Paulie or Vinny, like other characters. I just think that the movie would have been better suited for that. But outside of those issues, I still had a good time watching The Many Saints of Newark, okay? I love the performances. I thought the casting was great. I just thought everyone in it, they did what they needed to do. And I really do love actually being able to revisit these characters and actually kind of connect some of the dots. Connected a very large dot with Dickie's storyline. But yeah, what I would tell you guys to do with your coins for The Many Saints of Newark, I would tell you to pay to see it in theaters. And if you feel more comfortable watching on HBO Max, I would definitely tell you to watch it, okay? And then when you get done watching it, if you haven't watched The Sopranos, go watch all the seasons of The Sopranos. And then also too, if you have watched, you're probably gonna want to start and re-binge the entire series and probably go back and watch the movie again. But those are my thoughts on The Many Saints of Newark. As always, my name is Sharonda from Para Waits, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000, and until I see you again,